I was spending time with Cammy Wilson and Iona Murray.
I almost gave up doing the podcast because it's a hobby, and then when you feel obliged to do it, then it becomes hardly worth it, eh? But just the whole journey from there on in, it's all about what's in you rather than what's being thrown at you. And like a really important lesson. Like, Cammy, this is a sore point because you bought some of my sheep.
Only for you. No, they did, and I made money on them. They were fine.
Oh, I'm not sure about these, but
Did I say that in the video? I might have said that. I'm looking at them now. Actually, I know. Like Ali's last with a bottle of Budweiser. They look great. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we're all fed by farmers. Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
For our audio listeners, sorry we're a little bit later this week because we hadn't got the introduction done stuff. It's a bad time of year. Last year we got loads of them done in December. Like loads of podcasts done.
Yeah, we did. Because I was away all of January, so we must have recorded...
About 20 at one point saved up, and it saved all this because scanning. We blame it every week. Anyway, it's Michael Blanche.
It is.
My favourite podcast host. The Pasture Pod. After yourself, Iona. Obviously. I did ask Michael first, but he couldn't commit. He couldn't commit.
But I understand why you would rather Michael Blanche.
Especially after the quiz performance, eh? Boy knows things.
He does.
So we have sponsors to thank before we get into it. Start off with, who are our sponsors, Iona?
I'll tell you who our sponsors are,
You
Cammy.
tell me.
Hairdwatch and Crystalix.
Yes, we have a wee shake-up. It's been a year. We'd like to thank Animax very much. And in fact, you will see them in this podcast because they're still sitting behind Michael as he's speaking. Trace Shirt by Animax have been sponsoring the podcast along with Crystalix for the last year. And actually the only reason I stopped is because of major investment in infrastructure to make more boluses. So they've a wee shake-up of their marketing budget and they've dropped us, but that's okay.
You've bought too many boluses. They're having to build a new factory.
That is exactly what I said to them. I says that the advertising's worked so well that actually they're so popular now they've had to up production. So yeah, apparently by the back end of this year they'll be like booming.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that's good for them. Well done. So we have thankfully got heard, and I'd like to thank, there's a few of you listening that will know from businesses that reached out to us previously asking if you could sponsor the podcast, and we do appreciate that. And never say never. It's just that I've worked with Hairdwatch for so long now on the sheep game that I suppose they got the first chance at it, kind of thing, is the way it worked. So, Hairdwatch and Crystalix now. So, they sent me a wee thing about things to cover. But if you haven't watched the sheep, I know I'm so informal, I'm just telling you. But that's how it works.
No, I know.
Like Crystalix want things covered, and so do Hairdwatch.
Yep.
So I've literally got the paper. I'll get the hang of it eventually. But yeah, it's a livestock management app. You knew that.
Yep, I knew that.
But it also you can do crops as well.
Right, okay.
Used by 20,000 farmers in the UK and Ireland. It's pretty big time. I didn't even know we had 20,000 farmers, so that's quite good.
I wonder how many farmers we do have.
Ashley, did you find out how many? Ashley's raging. It's like, we've got to get this podcast out. Actually raging. We've got to get this podcast out today. Fantastic. Helps you prepare for your quality assurance inspections, those QMS inspections and that, because it's got your medicine book. That's the main thing we use it for, is all the medicines.
Yep, okay.
And every treatment of every sheep is there on there. I use it for medicines is the main thing. Put them in groups for doing the medicines, and for area. I like, you draw wee maps around your fields.
Right.
And you record all your fields, and then you know what acres and what fields and whatnot. Really good for that too.
Yeah.
And then when I'm looking at renting bits, I like to draw it and just see what acres it is. Ashley, how many farmers?
In the UK?
Yeah.
And Ireland.
6,000.
It's 106,000 just in the UK. So they've a bit of scope to increase then.
Yeah, but still, I think that's a good number to have there.
Yeah, they're at 20,000. So there we go. We want to get that up to 40,000 by the end of the year.
Yeah, double.
Double it, right.
Double it, or they're not paying their sponsorship.
Double it, or they're going to give it to the next guy. So yes, let's get Hairdwatch. I think we're going to get a little, we're going to have an affiliate link in the description of the show notes below. Look into that if you want to give it a trial. You can do a free trial of the app, and you can have multiple users. We're going to talk more about it at some point, and they're going to make a nice little video to slot in. So thanks to Hairdwatch coming on board, and as always, thanks for Crystalix. I've used my first ton already. I've got another 2 tons to go.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that. That was a bit longer than usual. that run an introduction for the sponsors. We'll hear from Michael,
Yes, okay.
and then we'll talk
go
about it
right
at the
in,
end.
Yeah.
Right, Michael, let's hear from you. Michael, who are you? Do you know what Michael's good at in his podcast, actually?
What?
Great at leaving a silence.
No,
I'm
I
terrible
don't know.
at it.
Who am I?
But I think when you leave a silence, you allow the guest to have time to think and maybe say more than they would.
Yeah, no, that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
He's good at that. He
I
likes
just
it.
thought I'd get the.
Do you know
There's
who-
only going to be one silence in this podcast. I just thought I'd get it.
Get it in early. Do you know who the master at a silence is in an interview?
Who?
You.
No.
It's a
Go.
joke.
Louis Theroux.
Oh,
Very good. I actually said
I
Michael's
was,
kind of like the
I was
Louis Theroux.
spending time with Cammy Wilson and Iona Murray.
Who am I?
Yes.
That's a big question, isn't it? Well, I'm just a bloke who likes farming, and I'm a father and a husband. Not very good one.
Oh, you know, I think
Which
you
one,
would.
the father or the husband?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no,
I don't think
no,
that's
I'm being
true.
I'm being falsely modest there. Actually, I'm bloody good.
Are you?
Yeah. But no. What else? How do you define yourself? I don't know.
It's awful, isn't it? I see when Cammy does a big question like that.
To be fair, I don't
honestly.
usually start with that mode.
Who is
Yeah.
Cammy Wilson?
I am a poor shepherd's son, just trying to make my way in the world. Faking it till I make it.
Tiny violin.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Still,
yeah,
that's
just a sheep farmer from Ayrshire. That's all I would say. If genuinely, if someone said, tell us a bit about yourself, I'd say I'm a sheep farmer from Ayrshire. There we go. Although I've got beef cows now, so I'm a sheep and beef farmer from Ayrshire.
Like,
Aye, dairy next.
so were you born into a farm?
No, I was born in Edinburgh, and my father was an accountant for the council, and my mum was a nursery teacher. We moved up north to Banffshire,
Right, okay.
near Cullen. You ever been to Cullen?
Cullen.
Really nice, great ice cream.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Kellen, but it's Cullen. Right,
Cullen.
okay. Is that
No,
where
Cullen Skink.
Cullen Skink comes
Oh,
from.
okay.
Yep.
Anyway, so we moved there, and it was like just a little hamlet and a huge farm,
Okay.
And from there on in, I just loved farming.
What age were you when you moved there?
I was 3 years old.
Okay.
And I think, I suppose my mum wasn't that well, you see. I've been thinking about this, why I really liked farming. But it was quite a dodgy time.
Okay.
And we got there and it all got wet. It got fine, but I just sort of really hooked onto farming. And I got farming toys and I got tractors, and I've never owned a tractor since. And the sheep never died.
Aye, back then.
Yeah. But and then I thought I would really like to farm, but then you get when you're not from a farming background, you get a lot of messaging saying you can't do it, and it's for good reason. They're practical people, and saying you can't. Come on, it's a wee bit daft because there's the money involved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could argue they're not far wrong.
Yes.
In fairness, see the people saying that you can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, right, can't is the wrong word completely, but
Yeah.
they're not a million miles away from being correct.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
near impossible.
Yeah.
As the system is just now, land
Yeah.
prices, cost
Yeah.
of buying stock, competition.
Yeah.
Like, because anyone in Ayrshire or around Kilmarnock looking for ground is competing with me. They're competing with
big dog. The big dog.
Well, but
Yeah,
I
I
am
know.
hungry. I want I
know.
make no bones. I want it all.
Yeah,
So,
really?
So like, if there's a bit of ground come up for rent, I want it. Like, I want to
I'm
expand. I want
grateful I'm
more.
not an Ayrshire now.
But then we had Jordan on the other week. He's competing for the same bit of ground.
Yes.
So there's just two. You've
Yes,
then a heap of other boys
absolutely.
and girls the same.
Yeah,
and we're in the industry already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
to try and come in.
absolutely.
Yes.
Aye.
So how did you manage it?
Well, how did I manage it? There's lots of little steps, But I don't think I'm totally there yet either. Because we'll have
Sorry to interrupt you, Michael, but what took your parents there to the farm?
to the to the big farm that we live next to was my dad got a job.
Right, okay, so it was nothing to do with farming.
No,
it
nothing
was
to do
just,
with farming.
Okay,
Yeah, we were just in a house next to the farm. you
Right.
know. And then all through school and college and school and first college, I've done 2 degrees.
what were
Like-
they in?
English and Rural Enterprise and Land Management at Harper Adams, but English was at another place. We used to call it, there was a there is a comedy called The Young Ones. Have you ever seen The Young Ones?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I can't.
You've got to see it.
No, I've never heard
Rick
of
Mail.
it.
Who's in it?
Rick Mail.
Right, okay.
Yeah. No, you don't know who Rick Mail is?
No. I can't say I do. No.
He played
The Young
Lord
Ones.
Flashheart in Blackadder. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, I've seen Blackadder. Yeah.
I've got a plan, and it is hot as my pants.
Okay, I like it.
That's Rick Mail.
I'm sure there's loads of people that. There we go. We've got there's Rick.
Mad tangents.
Yes.
Oh, I don't even
Yes.
recognise him.
Very good comedic actor. So The Young Ones was a comedy.
Yes. This is a long way for. It's not important now, the actual end of the story.
No,
But
okay.
they
We love a
went
tangent.
on University Challenge, and their college was called Scumbag College.
Okay.
And so we used to call our college Scumbag College. It was hilarious at the time.
Mm-hmm. But
Maybe not now.
now in a podcast 8 years later, it's an absolute mood
bomb.
killer. It's an absolute mood killer. No, very funny. Mike. Anyway,
Great story. It was a great
what
story.
college was it? Was it a posh one? I take it.
No.
Why do you
I
speak?
knew this was coming up.
But why do you speak like that? No, I mean, I'm genuinely
I'm sorry,
interested.
Mike.
I knew it was coming, Cammy.
So Strathallan's a private school in Strathallan.
No, well, Forgandenny, actually. It's the bottom of our hill.
There we go. Okay.
So we went right the way around and came back.
Yes.
And you know what the sad thing is? My dad went there, my two uncles went there, my brother went there, my cousin went there, my kids went there, my wife went there, her brother went there, and her sister went there. It's like a really weird sense of belonging.
Okay. Yeah. So now we're getting into the thick of it here, I suppose.
The
so you're
Paxman is coming out.
No. So you're from Old Money, by the sounds of it.
No, my parents actually they did struggle a little bit to send us. Because it's me and my brother.
Because that was when the East India Trading Company was on its way down.
No, I swear to God,
The empire was crumbling.
No, not at all. But my great grandfather moved down from Shetland to Glasgow, and he had some grocer shops in Glasgow.
Okay.
And
Is this John Tesco?
And so he did. My grandfather was quite well off, and then my uncle, he did some stuff in the whiskey industry, and he did quite well.
Mm-hmm.
But my old man was, he worked for the council, He
Okay.
wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to be fair, it brings up another good point as well that, we saw it recently with the VAT being added to the private school fee. There are plenty of parents that just put themselves out just to send their kids to a better education.
Mm-hmm.
It is a better education. Let's not kid on. Like it is. I'm not saying every instance, but it is.
I tell you what, our kids went to Perth Grammar, and I thought the teachers were, I don't want to say better, but they were bloody good, at the grammar.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
And,
not saying
you
public
know-
schools are bad either. But
Yeah, I know.
Class size is a
but
big
yeah, class sizes.
yeah, absolutely.
Especially
And you
if-
get to try lots of different stuff.
Yes, there's definite advantages to go to private school, and I do respect MD that struggles to send their kids
But then
to
there's
private
also
school.
barriers as well. Like at my school, you couldn't do home economics. You couldn't take PE at like standard grade or higher.
Why? It's too good for PE.
So you know,
No, it could be.
Oh, really?
They were always good at track and field. Sports is a big thing.
Yeah,
You're
it's a big
Strathallan would be good at rugby, I'd take it.
Yeah, there's a few, like the Fagersons and George Horn and Jamie Ritchie and all them went.
Did they? Yeah. Private
Jamie
school.
Ritchie is married to a girl that was at my year at school.
Oh, really? All right.
Oh, there we go. So kept it private. I like that.
Did you meet your wife at school?
I did, but we never spoke. Well, we spoke, we said hello, and she was in the same class as me, but she was like really cool,
Oh, was she?
and I wasn't cool. Can you imagine
Hard
that?
to
Look,
believe.
I know.
I wanted you to be honest on here, Michael. I just don't believe
I
this.
know. I'm just opening it.
Yeah,
up,
yeah. Okay, so you were the kind of, when you say we aren't cool, like geeky or like...
No, I wore Dr. Martens shoes, not boots. Dr. Martens shoes when they weren't cool.
And now they are cool,
flares,
ironically.
And flares.
And that is
When
a
it
cool
was-
look now.
Yeah, but it was not cool, Iona, when it
Is this
was
what,
happening.
Is this
Okay.
early 80s or when's this? Late 70s?
No, mid-80s.
Mid-80s, okay.
Yeah.
When was Flares cool?
Flares are cool now.
60s.
It's probably 70s, aye.
So,
Maybe Flares now,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, they've come back.
Are we now in a world where actually everything... Well, I'm not saying everything's cool because I don't think any of it's that cool, but where actually you get away with anything.
Aye. If you wear it with confidence, you can get
Yeah,
away with
that's
it.
that was my downfall.
Yeah.
I didn't wear it with confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually met afterwards through mutual friends, and yeah, that was, oh God, how long that would be when I was 24, so that's 6 years after.
Then you've actually no idea what you want to do with your life, so you think, what do you do if you don't know what
Do
you
an
want to
English
do? You'll
degree.
do English because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similar to Iona. She went and did primary school teaching. So you go off and do your thing.
Yes.
And then you finish your degree. You've got your English degree and you think, what am I going to do with this?
Exactly.
I don't want to be an English teacher.
But before then, I started lambing up in Aberdeenshire with Nat and Jenny Strachan. They're near Turriff.
Okay.
So I did one lambing there, and I thought, I was back in the zone. I was back where I wanted to be, and I thought, I've got to get closer to agriculture. So I went to Harper Adams and sort of halfway went there with land agency,
Okay.
but then they make you dress up in tweed and stuff. It's really quite hard.
Well, it's shuffle now. So it's,
Is it shuffle?
It's trendier now.
Right. Okay.
In fact, what you wear now would probably get away with it as a land
Come
agent, would you
on.
not? A wee quarter zip?
Yeah. Quarters of
Great.
a shirt.
Yeah, I think. There's still time. So you thought
Yeah.
about the land agent thing and then went,
And I went to Harper, and then I did do land agency for like
okay.
5-6 years.
Okay. Who you working for?
Well, no one's ever heard of them. And people used to say, oh, no, I will have heard of them. And
I probably wouldn't have. But
yes,
anyway.
I think but they have got bigger now. Davidson and Robertson.
Oh, I know them. They were,
yeah.
They were down at Ayr. They had a base.
Oh, yeah,
they
that's
had
right.
An
Yeah.
office at Ayr.
Yeah, we only had one office when I was there. And then Martin Hall's just taken it to another level. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's good. It's a green sign with the DNR. Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, they changed. I designed the ridge, like the old one, and they changed that because it wasn't a great design.
Okay. That's your legacy gone.
Yes,
Just
it's
like that.
gone.
And what didn't you like about land agency? I mean, I think land agency would be quite a good gig. Like, I wouldn't be... I'm not
I
saying
think
I could do
I
it,
think
but
you'd be quite a good land agent.
I wouldn't mind it.
What's the
It's
day-to-day
negotiation.
job?
It's basically negotiation.
Okay.
9 to 5. Well, we did a lot of work for Scottish Water and pipelines and gas pipelines and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
It's negotiation. I'm a right softy, and I don't like falling out with people.
No, I believe
so
you.
it's quite,
I'd be
yeah.
hard- like,
So
that's a difficult thing.
that was,
Yeah.
and so in Sunday evenings there'd be this sort of in the pit of my
Yeah.
stomach, and I don't want to do this. But I got offered a partnership,
Okay.
but I didn't think, a partnership's for life,
Because you need to buy into the business at that point, do you?
Absolutely.
You'd want need to take out a loan to buy in? Is that how
You'd
it
have
works?
to do that, yeah.
Yeah. And-
So I
okay.
didn't do it. But by that time I'd done my agronomy. It's called basis. You go out and you get tested on crops and stuff and
Okay.
what sprays to put on. So I did that whilst I was a land agent, and just scraped by. And then I thought, right, I really want to do something with this. So I'd moved to SAC. And that got closer again to farming, you see. And then and SEC was brilliant because you could phone up and you could ask any question to anyone and they knew the answers. It was about farming. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Like those old school specialists were just, so good. Anyway, so if you're really inquisitive about farming, you just ask questions about farming, and it's like being in a sweetie shop. So it was great.
So you learned a lot from that. Contacts, networking.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. In West Fife, there's a couple of people that really have formed my farming career. I mean, they will be embarrassed to ever be named in association with me, but someone gave me land.
Yep.
And someone was so helpful, it's Callum Shaw's dad. Willie
Okay.
Shaw.
Well,
Yeah.
Wally Shaw was helpful.
Yes. Yeah.
Can't believe it.
I used to phone him up about 12. I like multiple times for my first couple of lambings. I used to phone him up and say, "I've got this problem," and maybe I was close to his irritation, but he didn't sound irritated.
Do you know that? Do you know what? Actually, what I love about Wally Shaw is he tells you what he thinks.
Oh, aye.
Brilliant.
You know what he said to me when I said, "Willie, I'm getting cows." I said, what? Michael, it'll be a disaster.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's
he does the shearing judging, obviously, and like when I was a boy coming up, he would just come, like when you're making an arse of yourself, he would just come over and tell you you're making an arse of yourself. So it's like you need to say, you're doing this wrong, doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be better concentrating on this instead of pissing about doing that. And it was like, it was good.
He also does it with humour, though.
Oh,
Kinda,
he's no badness in it. There's no badness
no.
in it. No, it's good. It's very good.
Yeah, and Craig Mitchell from he's got farms all over West Fife, and he let me have some land. So originally I got 12 acres over in Crieff, and then we expanded to a point where we're at 7 holdings. You'll know this, Cammy, but 7 holdings, but only 150 sheep. So you're going here, there, and everywhere. And then we went down and we consolidated it at Craig's, and then we grew to about 650 sheep, including ewe lambs, that we put to the top because we were desperate. And then we moved to Dollar, and it was really like more rush than any other place I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried 7 times to get a tenancy, and like you were saying at the start, there's so much demand for it. You go along, you go to the open day, you put an offer in, you don't even get an interview, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
That was the first 6. And then the 7th, we put in a huge offer, I thought, and one that I probably couldn't justify, to be honest. And we would go down to the interview, and it's a council farm. So there's like lots of councillors on the panel. It's this big long corridor to get to. It's like really... Anyway, I thought it went okay. And you wait for the phone to ring, and it eventually rings. You came second. Oh, I still have an ab reaction to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought I'd do something different. I had either give up or do something different. So I tried for a Nuffield Scholarship. I'd tried in my early 30s to get one, and they didn't even get an interview. And then in my early 40s, I tried again after this disappointment. I'm not sure if you're aware, 2010, Nuffield actually lowered their standards for 1 year, and they let me in. So that was good. And then so I did it on the farming ladder, and just try to figure out how a first generation farmer can make it in farming with all the barriers you've got. Mm-hmm. And I went out and I thought, I went to Australia, and someone told me all you have to do for your study is to gather as many stories of first generation farmers as you can. Mm-hmm. And so many stories. I didn't realise there was many first generation farmers, hey?
There'll be more over there, I would think, than there is here, though, eh?
Yeah. But I was surprised how many were here. I thought it was, like, at that time, I felt alone, eh? But then it sort of opens up a wee bit, and definitely down south there's a few, eh? When I was there, but yeah. So, so I go around, I go to Australia, go to New Zealand, and my first visit in Australia is just in that, the outback, the back of Dubbo, and there's this like really huge hairy man, and he goes, right, what's it like being a first generation farmer in Scotland? And I go, well, it's really hard, the system, it's so, it's like, it's really impossible. And he looks at me like, you really like musicals and stuff like that, And I'm thinking, actually, that's the wrong answer, isn't it? Yeah. And that's I really remember that. And just the whole journey from there on in, it's all about what's in you rather than what's being thrown at you. Mm-hmm. And like a really important lesson. Like I thought it was 90% about the system, 10% about me, that the reason I wasn't getting on, there's so many people going for these tenancies. It's really, that's the way it is, and it's really hard, and it's a system's fault, dysfunctional land market, all that sort of stuff, highly capitalized industry, But actually, I flipped it because it's 90% about you, I think, and how because that's why you're interesting, because you've really innovated in ways of getting into farming and just trying to dodge the barriers rather than just try and break through them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I do always say, like, for anyone listening to this as well, obviously, Michael, you're very positive. That's what I like about you. I've not even mentioned the fact we'll get to the podcast. Michael has his own podcast as well, which is brilliant. But
It's not very good.
It's very, very, very positive, generally speaking, which is what's good at listening to you. But so much of it is luck. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. So much of it is luck. And you can make yourself luckier.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always say that I say this loads of times, so folk will be sick of hearing it. But the two most important things if you want to get started in farming, the first one's luck, and the second one's networking. And the more you network, the luckier you'll get.
Absolutely. Yes, that you've answered that question though, Cammy, because I don't think it is luck. I think there's a little bit of luck.
Massive battle. No, there is though. There is. It's massive luck.
But what you've said, what I agree with more is you make your own luck. And
yes,
like
you probably do as well. Yep.
If you look at the people that have, you've done something different. Like people have done different things that they've come up with. When we in the Nuffield, but it's a bit boring, isn't it? But we went round. What's a big battle that was enough? It's going to Gettysburg. In America.
Okay.
And there's this.
I didn't know what country was in there. It could have been
sorry.
Could have been Bannockburn. Could have been
what was the big battle?
Hill.
That could be a question for later. But there's this old gnarled Marine, and the Marine's sort of motto is adapt, innovate, overcome. And I thought that was awesome. That was really just, you've got to adapt and you've got to innovate, and you get on a wee bit.
Yeah.
It helps.
You could say it's the same motto for most farmers. Adapt and overcome. It's something weirdly they say it a lot in the police, although the police is very
Did they say that?
awkward. Adapt and overcome. They say that all the time. When there's a problem in front of them, they go adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
But really, the police is so paperwork orientated and anal about things. Actually,
Yeah, you can't.
You can't adapt.
Use your
you
initiative.
can't adapt unless it follows these guidelines. Like farming,
Yeah.
adapt and overcome is like, let's use logic and do it the simplest way possible or whatever. But yeah,
No, definitely.
And when you were doing your Nuffield, who was manning the fort at home?
Well, actually,
No, but you didn't have the 600 sheep by then, did you? No,
I did.
Oh, you did it
Yeah.
when you did
I can't
Nuffield.
remember. Did they?
Oh
look
yes,
after
you had.
themselves?
Yes, you had. You filled,
No, I tell you,
you filled the tenancy. Yep.
I think Callum and Alistair Shaw did a bit of it. So
Told you they
they
did.
were all.
I can imagine you phoning Ali Shaw and he'd be like, "Aye, mate, fine."
yeah, they never went.
No, it's like, I'm looking at them now. Actually, I know. Like, Ali's last with a bottle of Budweiser. They look great. Michael again.
Yeah. I think that was
50 quid a day's fine, mate. No, I know it's cheap. But listen, you're a neighbour. It's fine. You're a mate.
Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, but it was like 4 weeks in Australia. Was it? So no, it's 6 weeks in Australia and New Zealand. That was the longest bit away. Then India and Cambodia, and then a week in America, and then a week in France.
Right.
And a couple of weeks going round. Going round to the UK, so meeting other people there.
You could do a Nuffield.
Yeah, I know. I've thought about it before.
Go for it. What are you going to do it on? What would your subject be?
Don't know. That's quite a difficult one just to think of on the spot. Probably something to do with education.
Yes, I was going to
Okay.
say that.
Right, something about educating people more about agricultural education in schools and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What other countries do.
Yeah.
New Zealand's very good at it, I think.
Yeah, could go and look at what they're doing in other countries and then how we could implement it in the UK.
Like I think, like it's so important in other countries, isn't it? Like in the Young Farmer of the Year, I think was on at 7:00 in the evening on a Saturday in New Zealand. I think that at the time I could be making that up, but the
you mean on
level of-
TV?
yeah,
All right,
the
okay.
level
And it
of
was like prime
importance.
time
Yeah,
because
it's
people
really
were so interested.
Oh, they are much different than us, without a doubt. You know, in a good way, in a lot of things. You know, in a good way.
Yeah.
But speaking of New Zealand and the things they do, what kind of sheep do you run, and what's your system?
Cammy, this is a sore point because you bought some
Only
of
for
my
you.
sheep.
No, they did, and I made money on them. They were fine.
I'm not sure about these, but
Did I say that in the video? I might have said that. Is anybody sure about easy cares?
It struck me to the core.
Is anybody? You're not even sure about them.
No, I think they definitely need improvement. Definitely, because if you had a choice of a woolly sheep or a wool shedding sheep, and they were exactly the same performance, I think you would choose the wool shedding sheep, no? But the problem is that the performance is different to some of these good woolly sheeps.
Yes.
Sheeps.
Yep. And it's part of the issue you guys face and guys like yourself try to promote. I know you're not particularly trying to promote it or push it down anybody's throats. That's not your style at all. But people trying to promote that side of things, low input and all that, are they not facing a major issue just now when fat lamb price is so good? Like, it's absolutely worth feeding sheep just now because the trade's so good.
Yeah, well, I fed lambs last year. Yeah. Like, still got a few left, mind.
But see in your situation, trying to do easy cares, it's like Iona's dad with blackies. Like, the best way to get value out of them is to finish them yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because folk don't want to buy blackies for store lambs, and folk don't want to buy easy cares for store lambs.
Because for a long time we had one flock, we had OPA, and we had 2 flocks, and the OPA flock just went to Texel, and we'd sold store lambs, and we did okay. So when you try and sell pure, well, they're not easy cares either. I tried to reinvent the wheel, and they've just gone back to looking like easy cares. But
Graham Lofthouse style.
Well, I tried to put some Texel in them anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely get discounted in the storing.
Yeah.
You
do.
No doubt about it. So that's why you got them cheap.
Oh, we did. That's I can only buy cheap ones, so that's why we bought them.
No,
but they came good in the end. There's a good, to be fair, trade jumping crazy did help.
Yes,
but like for people like yourself, probably the best bet is hanging them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by that I mean selling them dead weight, so you sell them direct to the slaughterhouse. So it doesn't matter what they look like. Sorry, it's all about how they grade and how they hang up.
Yeah.
Crystalix Extra High Energy feed blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalix Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalix range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalix-global.com.
No, that's what we're kind of moving towards. I would like to get to a point where they're good enough to put in the storing and not get a discount. That's kind of what I'd like to get to.
But I do think if you're planning, I mean, I enjoy listening to your podcast because you're very good at analysing yourself and criticising yourself. You're very good at it. Yeah, you're very good. But like, if your intention is to sell store lambs, surely you're better with a different type of sheep.
No, the intention isn't. Maybe I should, yeah.
No, I'm just genuinely asking. Like, if your end goal is to sell most of them store, surely you should aim for a good store lamb. Not that your lambs aren't a good store lamb, can I just say, but they're not. It's not what the buyer wants,
Yeah, but I'll be honest. Like, so when I went down to Wales in 2003, before I got any sheep, and we went to see Yolo, and who invented the easy care, basically, or bred the first easy cares, And I thought, oh yeah, that was kind of an initiation to start. I'm going to breed my own sheep. Like, it's going to, I'm going to just put all the parts together. It's going to be amazing. And so that didn't work. But it's actually at the core of the whole thing. The whole farming journey was this project I wanted wool shedding, I wanted highly maternal, and I wanted a reasonable conformation, So at the core of it, and I've had farmers come. We were in a benchmarking group, and one guy was really quite forthright, saying, "You've got to stop this. This is no good. You've got to get a different type of sheep." And it did challenge me, but then that's a big reason why I started farming, because I wanted to breed this sheep that was, and it's such a long road when you start, I started with, when we got OPA, we had to start again, and we started with Shetlands, some of which were £9 a piece. Like, they're not fun. They weren't bonny.
Yeah.
So it's a long road, and maybe it's ridiculous, maybe it's stupid, but I really just want to get on. I just want to finish the journey, and if it fails, probably will. But if it fails, at least I finished the journey.
Okay, yeah.
But what? What is then?
I'm more thinking, how many bad years do you need before you say it's failed? how do you actually measure them?
Yeah.
Wait, how do you measure failure?
Actually, it gets to a point where the more
It's like
bad years,
eventually-
the more the
eventually
bigger the
I'll be
badge of honour.
Yeah, eventually I'll be able to fly to the moon if I just keep trying. It's like, I just let me go.
Oh, you're winning at failing.
Yeah, but it's a big thing of farming is enjoying what you do.
Absolutely,
You know.
and it's interesting. But the other thing is, why are folk not? I get the impression in the industry, some folk are saying it's profitability is not that great, even with the high prices. Am I right or not?
Oh, you might. Some people. I mean, I think farming's is good. I mean, there's an absolute buzz about the countryside. Like, it's mad because inheritance tax is this terrible bloody thing that's hanging over a lot of farmers. Albeit in Scotland, we're not as affected because land prices are lower, and we have a lot of smaller farms, especially in Ayrshire. But everything else is booming. Dairy's booming. Sheep's booming. Beef is booming. The arable boys are getting a bit of a kick in at the moment, but it's just. Like, in absolute respect to him that does arable farming, it's a lot of outlays and that. It's just so hard to feel sorry for arable farmers. I said this before. It's just really hard to feel sorry. I'm sorry. It is because it's a different type of farming, isn't it? It's more like
It's all the
business.
shooting during the winter. I feel.
But it's more of a arable. Big arable is just like absolute business and strategy. It's the actual harvest and that's such a small part of it. It's the gamble.
Absolutely.
It's the reading the market. It's like being a trader. It's a different type of farming altogether. It is, and the price of machinery now, and the price of land, arable land.
It's crazy.
The whole thing is. I listened to a boy. What's his name's Tom Turner, something like that. He speaks on TikTok, and he's an advisor or something. And some of the stuff he says is a bit kind of provocative. But he was talking about how much this farm he was looking at was making per acre for their winter wheat or whatever it was, and it'd be far better running sheep. But like that's just not an option. Oh, it was like terrible, man. Like 100 odd quid an acre or something. Time to take all their costs off it. But it's like, well, run a yow on that. That'll lamb you 1.8 lambs, and you've no finance, no machinery, no real gamble really.
Yes,
like just run sheep.
Yeah.
Could we see that happen?
I don't. Yeah, but if you look at the stats, I know it's changed in the last. I think the Scottish government have certain stats, don't they, about
things,
farm business? About stuff.
They do. I've heard that.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
No, but it's the farm business income.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yep.
And if you work that out, like the average farm is spending £1 to get in 80 pence. In sales.
Okay.
That's subsidy excluded.
Okay.
So that would be the average farm. So I think the golden key, this is my theory that is probably not working, but the golden key for me is high to medium output and low cost. It's if you've got a high cost system, you've really got to push turnover to get a decent profit, eh? So I just think it's a lower risk. But rightly or wrongly, because everyone's got their theories, eh? And that's just mine.
But with low input, are you ever going to get high output?
I think so in the grazing groups that we ran, I used to work for QMS, Iona.
Right, okay.
It's been about, eh?
Yeah.
I know, I want to hear all your whole full story.
Well, we ran grazing groups for QMS, and some of the people, I was told by this, he's an Irishman that lives in France. It's a long story, but he's like a grazing guru kind of guy. And the first time I spoke to him, he said, well, you'll get twice the production for half the cost if you just have a grass-based system. Now, I didn't believe him. Well, I did actually, but it was proving quite difficult. But in the grazing group, we had one person, had a lot of people at half their cost and retained their output, but one person almost got twice the output and half the cost. And that was nuts.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things you can do on farm that gets to that point. I'm an average farmer, but some of the good ones can get there if they're really good grassland managers.
Oh, it's farming is just an amazing thing. The difference in it, like we're all in the same industry, but even two farms next to each other,
I know that's the
doing
awesome
it totally
thing, eh?
different. Yeah, it is crazy.
And I love your point. You made the point during the IHT thing that we're the little. There's not many industries with just little guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've got all this sort of self-determination that we can do what we want, eh?
Yeah. Oh,
That's the
usually
beauty of it.
I think what I said was that every key industry like oil, gas, electricity, it's water in England it's all big money that runs it because it's essential. But food production, and my point was there's so little money in it that if they were to buy up all the farms and say we're going to produce the food, they couldn't pay the staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like farmers do work, and I don't, farming isn't a reasonably good spot at the moment in terms of price of lamb, price of beef. But if you actually still work at a farmer's hourly rate, like for the work they put in,
absolutely.
Especially if you had to pay them say time and a half and pay overtime and that, it'd be pennies. You couldn't pay staff to do it.
Yeah,
that's a bother.
That's what you see.
Then every time you need a light bulb fixed or a sheet sorted in a roof, it'd have to be a crane in and do this. Farmer, we're daft buggers. We've got up on a ladder and fixed things you would never do, like if you're an employee, or you should never do as an employee. But when you own the place and you have nobody to answer to, that's why there's so many industrial accidents in farming, because we're stupid. We say, I'll just climb up in the bales and fix that.
That's true. Literally, I was on the phone to my dad yesterday and he said he waited till Mum was away because the chimney needed fixed until he went and got his ladders out.
Is that right?
Yeah, he literally said, he said it was great. I knew your mum was going away today, so I got the chimney up and got the ladders up and got the chimney fixed.
And it's so true, though.
Yeah.
And that's why big money, in my opinion, hasn't taken over. But we do have, there is concerns, obviously, down south, I think, where Arable could be run by big money.
Yeah.
Couldn't it? I mean, because it is that.
Some of it is.
Probably a lot of it is, yeah. So. But it comes back to that. It's more of a business type mind. It's strategy. It's trading. It's
I think we could still do that though. No, maybe not the trading bit, but the strategy and all.
Yeah, and sheep. Yeah. Well, I mean, every farmer's a good. You have to be good at business, or you're gone. The ones that aren't good now, are gone. Like because there've been some tough years there.
Yeah.
And like beef now is absolutely booming. It's amazing.
It's the thing to be in.
Oh, well, you've got cattle, and we'll talk about them. But like, people are saying now, like people are still saying to me, we bought the farm. We need to get into sucklers. No money on it. And I'm like, not those same people, but that similar kind of farmer was saying that same thing to me about sheep when I started.
Yeah. But historically,
and they've been right both times. But
historically, it's been quite the. Suckler cows done a certain way are quite high cost, eh?
How do you do
them? Well, despite Willie Shaw's saying it would be a disaster, it's not been so far. But we've gone in. Me and my neighbour have gone in partnership on it.
Okay.
So I own half a cow of all the cows, half each of all the cows.
What half?
Probably the back end, the shitty bit.
It's the best bit.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's okay. Back end is fine.
But so and he's got a Manitou. I still don't have a tractor.
Okay.
So because I was always told, buy flesh, not metal. Just it's capital allocation, isn't it? What you spend your money on. So we've got half a cow each, and we've got 85 cows and calf, and we've got land that we could probably double numbers, I think. Okay. It'll take a wee while, obviously, but I think we'll get there, hopefully. And we basically block graze hills, because in Perthshire, just south of Perth, there's the local hills are quite handy, the sort of green hills. Okay. So we let it grow during the summer. Ideally, I would graze all of it in July, and then we get some regrowth, and it'll be nice and green. So, so we just do that, and we block graze them, and we feed it probably. I think we've averaged 1.5 bale of silage a year for each cow.
Okay.
And then they calve, and they have little tiny calves. I think our weaning weight wasn't that bad. It'd be over 250 average. And some of the boys that I've got Charolais calves are like, what? That's birth weight.
They come out at that weight.
But yeah, 280 I think for the mature cows we're average.
Easier calving.
Yeah, we helped one last year.
Why don't you just get tick and double your numbers?
I think so. I started my sheep. I bought them on a balance transfer for my credit card. In the old days, you could put a balance transfer. Say you had a £5,000 limit, you could actually use that and put it in your bank account. So I put it in my bank account, and I paid for the sheep. I never paid them back. Hey, but they still phone every day, so my credit rating stopped. No, it's not quite that bad. Sheep now, so it's fine. It's not quite that. It's not quite that bad, but I just don't. I don't think I've been really bad at getting. We had the COVID loan, which helped with the cows, but I was told by someone that who is very wise. I take his opinion seriously, but he said if you're a tenant and you don't have suckler cows on the herd basis, you're an idiot, because the herd basis will allow you to sell. Now, I'm not an accountant. If there's accountants listening, but the herd basis will allow you to really strong tax advantages when you disperse them, and you can actually reduce, all these reduction sales. That's tax free as well. You see, from where you start to where you build, that gap is really tax advantageous.
This is like a thing in the tax system that's kind of built in. I suppose it's for farmers essentially that you can.
Well, it's like a retirement. I see it as a retirement fund, to be honest.
Yes, is that you can build your herd of cattle,
Right.
and that if you, as Michael's saying, if you sell them off, they're exempt from tax. Somehow, I don't fully understand. I'm aware of it.
I've spoken to accountants.
Because you can't do this. You can't do this.
Getting overly excited about this. It's not that.
Yeah,
good.
but you can't. Do
Right,
it,
okay.
you can't do the same for sheep though. Like I don't think there's anything similar for sheep, is there?
There are sheep on the herd basis that I've
Right.
seen accounts for, but I'm not. I'm that's old.
Yeah.
I mean,
There'll be people listening that know
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
but
yeah,
one for Graham Bryson again, maybe, that came in and spoke about stuff like that. But so, yeah, but what you just don't want the weight of debt over your head, really. Surely you could push on and.
I could push on, couldn't I?
But
You
then,
might have-
We are keep-
does not everybody wants to keep pushing on.
True, but you did say you wanted to double, so I was
Yeah.
just asking the question. If you want to double, let's just double.
But then, yeah,
But then what? You don't get the right type of cow. You're breeding them to suit, and
I think so.
to suit
I
yourself.
mean, we could have, but I thought. I mean, we're going to get to numbers in 3 years anyway. I'd imagine.
Yeah, if you have half your calves
We
heifers,
keep
each
everything
year.
heifers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Um,
And again, it comes back to the enjoyment of it. You're breeding them.
and I think the system builds as the numbers build. If we went straight to 160 now,
Bit of shambles.
I don't probably trust myself. It would be a disaster, perhaps.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't probably trust myself enough just to go full bore. But yeah. So that's
And are you still in the same land that you got all those years ago, or have you moved?
no. I didn't finish that story. So we tried the 7th time. We tried an 8th time.
Okay.
And 8th year of trying, 8th time attempt, we got it. And that is called Chucker Farm and Nether Home Farm at Forgandenny in Perthshire.
Okay.
So, and of course I thought we've made it. This is,
Yeah.
it's just base camp. It was all these things that, we got a big overdraft. We got a big overdraft. Well, not a big overdraft, but it's, I think, £45,000 secured.
It's a good overdraft.
Not secured,
What's
but
it secured against?
No, it wasn't secured.
Oh, it wasn't secured, yeah.
It was, we got it. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it got in. I got it in the November. I got the tenancy in November, and then January came. I thought this money isn't. The limit hasn't been put in place. So I phoned the bank manager. He said, about that, we kind of changed our minds.
Right.
So we had this £5,000 overdraft, and I think it was 4,500 overdrawn. So I had £500 for a 500-acre farm of working capital.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you overcome that?
Well, we got some tick from the market for some ewes that we bought in, full of OPA. What we got dropped off at the bottom of the drive, and one died on the way up the hill.
Did you get a refund on that one? No. Is that right? Oh,
I
you're
should
too
have
soft.
actually. I am
Oh,
too
you're
soft.
too soft, man. Most
Yeah.
farmers have been.
Yeah.
Some farmers might have said, "Bring the lorry back and just take them away."
Yeah. I just thought it was a one-off, but they just kept on dying.
Yeah. Was this mules or what was it? Blackies,
Am
was
I
it?
allowed to say?
You can say it's in every breed.
I'm there from Ayrshire.
Were
They
they?
were from Ayrshire, yeah.
Blackies from Ayrshire?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Nowhere near.
No, Chris Flat, they don't sell their females, so it's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. Oh, no, they do sell they don't buy females, but
Yeah.
it wasn't
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Flat anyway. You couldn't afford them.
No.
So that's how I know it wasn't Chris Flat.
Yeah, so that really put a cat amongst pigeons, and then so those two things were quite a challenge, eh? Mm-hmm. But we got there, I think. It's getting a lot better.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
I in terms of finances,
Yeah, I think so.
doing outside
That
work.
said, there'll be people. There might be people listening that I owe money to, so it's coming.
Yeah, so always gets there eventually. Don't worry. So, what do you do to actually make it pay though? Like, when you have a family to look after there and all that, like, do you do outside work?
Yes.
Like, what do you do?
Well, I'm going at the end. Next week. I'm going to Kirby Stephen to speak about time in farming for AHDB, and then the week after, I'm a whole week speaking about time for AHDB.
Yep.
Just a time workshop.
Like as in literal time, like
Literal
hours on a
time.
clock.
I just showed
Like the
them
magazine.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was like an an.
A what?
Take all of that when you use like one letter for each word.
Oh, right. An acronym? Is
An
it?
acronym.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's about time management.
Well, people that know me would laugh that I'm lecturing about time management.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I was late today, wasn't I?
It's all good. No, you were on time today. You just went to the wrong post.
Yes, I was dead on time.
You were dead on time. I was impressed.
Yeah.
But to me, you know, as a sort of sole trader, you know, when you've got a team, you've got strengths and weaknesses, and you know, you sort of balance each other out. But if you're on your own, you're the team in yourself, and so all your weaknesses get really exaggerated. Maybe your strengths they're all right, but your weaknesses really bring you down. And my weakness was definitely time. And also, I've got an extension to that lease at Colchester, and I've only got 10 years left. I've got 9 tuppings left, 10 lambings, 10 calvings. You know, the clock is ticking, eh? So, and I've got to get.
What about the lease? How long's left in that? Sorry, mate. You've got plenty of years on you. On you go.
Well, it could be less, couldn't it? Anyway, but so there's definitely a finite end to it, eh? So, and I've got to get some money together. Otherwise, we are literally living in cardboard boxes at the end of it. So there's real urgency. So how do you make the most of that? Every minute of every day is kind of important, you know, when it's like really that finite. So that really interested me. And then there's an Australian guy that, that told me that, you know, UK farmers have got to really address labour efficiencies. 4,000 to 6,000 Gs per person. That's what you need to aim for. No one, of course, does that here, I don't think.
No, but it's different lands.
Yeah, absolutely. Though, there's excuses. But
I'd love to see them come and do it here.
Aye.
And not get the animals' health on their back, or, you know. You can't.
No, but that's what I thought. I got angry at what he said. But then you think about it and said, well, could we get even closer, eh? You know, it's an interesting concept. What are they doing that they can do that? And I appreciate the environment's totally different.
Well, and also they just let the weak ones die, you know.
But then I don't think their animal welfare is any worse than ours. Because
they bred them better, because
Yes.
genetically they're better. I'll accept that, yeah.
Yeah. So all these, And then I came across another lady who was a dairy farmer in Lancashire, and she was on Twitter explaining like just the relentlessness of this dairy farm. It was on robots, and there's only one generation, so they couldn't really go away from the farm because the robots kept on beeping at them. And she was 13 hours a day, 7 days a week. She described how she was crying in the calf shed, and you know, it's really, it was claustrophobic just thinking about it. So all these time issues in farming is really important, I think. So I did a podcast about that.
Interesting. I'm going to listen.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the podcast next. I just want to touch on the time thing as well, because you talk about time a lot on your podcasts. And I will say it's the highlight of my week. Michael does.
Yeah, whatever.
Mate, I genuinely mean it.
You do.
Not even your interview one so much. I just like, he does one called A Letter from Colchester.
Yeah.
And I will take credit. I feel like it was my idea. It was my idea. Mainly from a selfish point of view, because I wanted to hear more about what he's up to, and rather than wait for podcasts. And it's just Michael walking about, talking about his week. But he's so honest and self-depreciating, and is it depreciate, is that the right word? Self-deprecating.
Is it?
Self-deprecating, and like, it's just good to listen
That's
to.
nice
Oh, it's
listen to.
good. And it's just him talking to himself like a crazy man. Like, it's brilliant. So it's fantastic.
But
you do talk
make perfect sense.
You do. It's good. I really enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. I really do. But it's called the Pasture Pod for anyone wanting to look them up. But you do talk about time a lot and stuff, and a lot, some stuff I do agree with you, and other stuff I don't.
Like tell me.
Well, you'll refer to things that to me, like you're saying, oh, you spend too much time doing this or too much time doing that. But you're actually talking about something that I want to spend my time doing. So I don't see it as spend too much time. I feel like I don't spend enough time
doing what you want.
Working with sheep, and because I'd work with sheep all day.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy.
But you scan all about the country and you shear all about the country. You will go to lots of different places where folk are either ready for you or they're not ready for you, or the sheep run or they don't run. There's a difference.
Less and less these days, right enough. I'm fortunate I can pick and choose. But yeah, you're right. There's plenty of folk I've dropped, really.
So the people that take absolutely ages are still spending time with sheep.
Yeah.
And they must be really enjoying themselves. But it's, you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Most of them aren't.
Twice the number of sheep, maybe, if you really loved it.
A lot of them that aren't organised and don't get it set up, generally speaking, aren't sheep folk, though. You know, it's hard to explain. Like,
okay.
They're just not sheep folk. They don't know how to set sheep up to run well, or they don't have their set up right to run sheep in. You know, they're usually like beef farmers or dairy guys or something like that, where it's a secondary thing.
Yeah.
And they do hate working with the sheep, but they're an added, not hate it, but they dislike
ironically,
it.
they spend more time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But then you could say the answer to that is just buy better equipment. And I mean, a lot of the time, that's all it is.
Yeah.
If you're a set of rappers or even the Tapari, we'll give them a shout out any time. Like if you hate dozing sheep and all a lot of the time, what folk don't like about working with sheep is it's physical.
Yeah.
It's the most physical job of all farming, because with cattle you have to be set up. You can't just cow per cow and deal with it, or just tackle in the corner and lamb and cover. You have to have the setup.
Yeah.
Whereas with sheep, we just bugger about with some hurdles, and then they're jumping out all the hurdles, and we make our life so hard.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just buy the gear.
And some people resent spending money on infrastructure, And I think it's
but even that in itself probably leans into your time argument of like it's so backwards. It really is.
I didn't say that, did I? What?
No, but talking about your time, those, you're saying to people about spending money on infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like you have a fantastic set of sheep handling pens, brilliant, makes the job like that kind of Australian set you've got where it's all curved and they move around in a beautiful setup. I do remember that. But even things like, I keep mentioning them, obviously I will, but because it's changed the game for me, but it's the Tapari thing.
Yes.
Like folk will say to me, but it's 20 grand.
Yes.
Right? But these are the same folk driving about in a 38 grand Toyota Hilux.
Yeah.
Like,
you do get that. You get a little bit of chip. Even when I bought
use this for 10 years and use it. Well, I don't use it every day, but I'll probably use it, especially in the busy season. Well, in the busy season, you're using it every day, where you're dozing, dagging, whatever, weighing lambs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And it doesn't depreciate like a Hilux, and it'll do you 10 years.
Yeah.
It's half the price. Hilux, you've got it 3 years, you change it again.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
Because I haven't got a tractor, I think I can. Because I even like having electric fencing, I get teased about from some people. Oh, you got shares in an electric fencing company, have you?
Who do you use? What electric fencing do you use? I don't have any bias. We use Gallagher, I'm just interested.
Oh, it's Gallagher stuff, but I get it from Powered Pasture, Alec Brewster.
Okay, yeah. Gallagher's good.
Yeah, no.
The solar things.
Yeah. Got them, yeah. And the reels, the 3-in-1 reels.
I don't have that. What's 3-in-1? It does 3 at a time.
Well, no.
It's 3 reels on one stick.
No, when you're reeling them in.
Oh, it's geared.
It's geared.
Yeah. Dangerous that though, Tay. It's got its flaws.
I have not been injured once.
Well, it goes. Sometimes though, it goes too fast and it gets loose.
There's a technique to it though.
Yeah, I put it round my leg. No.
Oh, nice.
So I put it round my leg and then wind it up.
Yeah.
Don't do it with shorts on. And then that slows it down a bit to keep the tension. We're getting into real technical stuff now.
That's a good tip though.
Yeah.
And when did Pasture Pod come about?
Well, in 2017, I had to plant lots of hedges. And I'm not sure if you planted hedges before, but it's really, really dull.
Okay.
And my mind goes, it whirs, and I start going into dark places. So I had to listen to something, and these little podcasts were on. I thought, that'd be really good if it was in farming. And then Will Evans, have you listened to his Rock and Roll Farming, it was called? Did you listen to that, Cammy?
Possibly. I can't.
He
Possibly.
stopped.
Can't-
He
I
stopped.
can't
He did
remember it.
one a
Yeah,
week. He
yeah.
was an absolute machine, like you guys.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do one every year, but
About one episode.
One a month.
yeah, but he basically said I was thinking about it, and then he showed me that it could be done. So I just went up with a little. When I left QMS, I got a little bit of money as a
Please
great-
don't come back.
don't come back.
Yeah.
So I bought a sound recorder and some microphones and stuff, and I went up and I started with a friend. So I started with John Scott, actually, who's been on
okay,
this.
yeah.
He wasn't as grumpy as he was when he was on yours, but so yeah, we did that, and it was so exciting, eh? It sounds different when you actually listen back to it, and I was this is great. So we did a few more, and I thought it would be a great idea to sing my own theme tunes.
I love that.
Have you listened to it? Really?
I like it.
I love it.
But I get why some folk don't.
50% of folk do not like it at all. I
But
got.
do you know what I don't get? It's like, and this is confusing. It's difficult because we have an incredible interaction on YouTube, which is amazing. But I always listen to podcasts. I never
Yeah, me
watch them on
too.
YouTube. But
Yeah.
folk generally love sitting and watch them on YouTube,
Yeah.
which for something that's an hour and a half long is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But like, I can't get long enough podcasts. Like, I just want to listen to. Like, I'm sitting listening to podcasts all day when I'm
Yeah,
working on
me
the
too.
farm.
Me
So
too.
like, if you add a bit of humour in with an intro song or whatever, or you have a long that's one thing about your thing. I like your long. Your interviews are ridiculously long, like Joe
know.
Rogan long, like
Yeah.
3 hours. Some of them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I love it because like I'll just either listen to it all in a one hour while I'm working during the day, or I'll come back to
crop
it.
it up,
Or
yeah.
you just come back to it. Your phone keeps it the same bit, and you come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
like folk listen to audiobooks.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Which are
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which are better, but anyway.
Yeah.
So sorry. Yes, your theme tunes and stuff.
I had a talking dog that told jokes and stuff.
Yes.
But
I
she
have listened
died.
to some.
Yeah, with Mo.
Yeah.
That was Mo.
Died.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. But we've got another one. So
He has got, yeah, the talking. I do like talking. I remember sitting, scanning, and literally busting out laughing. You remember this joke, the littering joke?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, the dog was getting arrested for having my pups at the side of the road, and you
Yeah,
said,
that's right.
he said, what was the offence? Littering.
Right.
Terrible joke. The jokes
Terrible.
are all
It's
terrible.
it's even
I
worse
bust
when I
out
get it
laughing
wrong.
because it's so bad. I was just like, class, man. But anyway, so we've got a
Right.
podcast. Michael and I are going to do a Pasture Pod podcast after this. I think we're going to go
Nice.
to the farm and do it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Ambi-
I'd love to see the shorthorns.
Ambience and all that kind of stuff. What breed
Yeah.
are your cattle, by the way?
Angus.
Angus. Okay, yeah, I like Angus too. I like Lings
that's
too,
nice.
actually.
We've got 6 pedigree ones.
Angus.
So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. We've got some good Angus in Ayrshire. We've got Duncan Emer Angus. I don't know if you heard of them. They're a big name in the Angus.
Ah, yeah.
You maybe
I don't. I
Because
read
it's
it.
spelt.
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
most difficult thing about Duncan Emer is
What is
Is that how you
I would
pronounce it?
I would
right?
never have known that if it wasn't.
Yes.
I didn't know them. So
Great.
anything else of interest to tell us? Actually, what about this? You do Patreon, which is a subscription thing. I've
Yes.
dabbled in it myself before in the past.
I remember I was subscribed.
Yes, no, you're a gentleman. You were obliged to because I subscribed to you.
Yes,
I get that.
exactly.
I know.
It was good. I looked forward to it.
Well, we did a few podcasts.
Are you going to do it again?
Nah, well, we toyed with it. We're talking about it still. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to.
It's very difficult.
You sum it up really well when you talk about it. Is that you feel so awkward mentioning it, and yeah, it's a difficult one. Like
Yeah.
the reality is, we're not. Iona and I will do like a Friday chat and just have a blather and stuff like that. But and we've spoken about this podcast, and you know yourself, there's no money in podcasting.
No.
The money for this, the Crystalix and that is what secures the Tuesday one every week. But to do more, it's like more time on, more editing, more time in here.
Absolutely.
So we might. I'm not saying we won't, but we might look at it in the future. But how's it work for you?
It's all right. We've got 200 and just over 200 paying members.
Very
can
good,
you believe
mate.
that?
I
That's
didn't realise it was that
brilliant.
many.
And
I
how
thought it
much
was
are
about
they
6 or 7.
paying?
Well, a total I get in a month would be 850 quid.
That's brilliant.
Good on. Good on.
Now everyone's going to unsubscribe because they think I'm getting too
No,
much money.
now I am absolutely doing a subscription. do you know we were number one? We should have bloody done a thing about this. You know that Spotify uncovered thing or
Oh yeah,
Unwrapped.
the end of the year,
Unwrapped.
unwrapped. Yeah,
Unwrapped. It shows
'Cause
you-
it's Christmas.
We were the number one podcast for 3,800 people.
Wow.
I think that's mental.
That is
3,000
actually mental.
3,800 people had us as our number one podcast for the
Do
year.
you know how many were number one for me?
Did you look at it?
2.
Was there?
No.
I wouldn't be one of them because I'm not on Spotify. I'm Apple. Yeah. So right, 800. Good. But see, like, I, like many of the people that subscribe to that, I don't just subscribe for the content. I subscribe because, well, I like what you do and I know what you're trying to do.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. But then, ironically, I've done less of the normal podcasts since, because I'm too busy podcasting. I haven't got time to do the subscribers. Normal one.
Yes. Yep.
So I appreciate that people have done that.
Well, I know there's a good seminar on next week. I think it is about time. You should get yourself along to it. It's just every time he makes a joke. To be fair, every time he says I've not had time to do a podcast, which is ironic because I'm doing a thing on time next week. But it's true though, because you're now held to the people paying for it. You have to. That is a priority.
Yeah.
And the free one is another thing altogether. Yeah. But yeah, you're missing a trick a wee bit there, drawing more people in, doing more free ones probably, and giving them more a taste of what they could have if they subscribed. And I will say, like, I think it's well worth it. I enjoy the content. I'm happy to pay for it. Our big thing is now is the one big game changer for us is and I said this before we bought the farm, if it all folded tomorrow, it wouldn't matter. Now we've bought the farm, we really need to push on and succeed and make money, to be honest with you, which is, I hate saying that, but we have to make money now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're on the same point too. You're trying to get ahead and do things, and that's where I'm sure the Patreon idea came about.
Yeah.
Because there's no money in podcasting.
Yes, absolutely. I almost gave up doing the podcast because it's a hobby, and then when you feel obliged to do it, then it becomes hardly worth it, eh? But and I did a fair bit of consultancy, a reasonable amount of consultancy, and it was all some of the Scottish Government stuff. It was really annoying. So I thought getting an income from somewhere else was a good thing, and I only did the podcast just to have, quite a lot of people have creative urges. It's just to sort of pacify that.
Yeah, definitely have that.
But and it's interesting, but yeah.
I think you're like the Louis Theroux farm podcast. Like, you just have a good way of.
You've got a lovely energy.
Aye, and like, and you will, like, even some uptight, business type people will ease off and relax a bit. Like John, when you did his, not I'm saying John's uptight, but he can be a serious man, he's running a big business, and you get him, you make jokes and you relax, and
it's easier when you know.
I'm pretty sure you mentioned the bull with one nut and all that kind of stuff, like it's. You make light and make fun. Charlie Russell, I think you did one with Charlie, didn't you? Yeah. Who's another big business.
He's a bit,
head on him. You've done a few.
But I knew them before. It's cheating, really. When you'll know this, when you know someone and you do this,
different.
It is different, isn't it? Because you've got established the level of bants, the bants hierarchy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. But they are very good. Now, I'm conscious of our time and that we have to go and do our own podcast. Is there going to be a Patreon podcast or a free podcast?
Well, I was going to ask you how you felt. Which one did you want?
I am 100% behind making it a Patreon podcast. I am more than I can.
I try and do an hour for Patreon and then 4 hours for.
In that case, I'll need a payment for it. Well, you could do half and half.
What, the 2 hours?
Well, like you put an hour on for the monthly. Or do you usually your interview ones go on the free? Half of it goes on the free, does it? You do whatever you want, mate. Yeah, honestly,
okay.
I do not mind either way. It'll be grand.
You won't have a lot of time though.
I'll have a couple of hours, no bother. Yeah. I will do a couple of hours. And we can look at that. But it's fantastic. Anything else you want to talk about or add?
No, I just really like Fed by Farmers podcast.
Thanks for saying that. Do you actually listen to it?
I listen to almost every one. I've missed one or two.
Okay.
But what's really good is you have people on that would never do a podcast. Like Archie McGregor and all these Blackie boys that you're getting on.
Yeah.
Just fascinating. And Hamish Mitchell. And
I
just thought they were so interesting, eh?
Well, that has been one of the best things for us is Archie, your dad,
and I feel like
Alan Blackwood.
Yes, that was a really good
if it wasn't for Iona, Alan would never go and do a podcast with him. Like,
Yeah.
I think
even your other man, is it Tom Blackwood that has this?
Tom,
I thought it was
he
great
would never
too.
do Tom's great. He's just a really good mate of mine.
Yeah.
And I basically twisted his arm into it, and he was great businessman.
I think it's so nice, like somebody like Archie McGregor, who I've literally known my whole life,
Yes.
and I only know a snapshot of him, and to have his story, to hear it, and then for that to be on record, I just think such a nice.
It's great.
fantastic.
It's such a nice thing.
I thought your dad was very good as well. And I've seen the video of your farm. It's so tidy.
Yeah, he's a perfectionist.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that the key?
He's
That's
Just
where I
for,
want
just
to
for
be.
filming day. For filming day. Speaking about time, Michael, if all your sheep were up in the hill and you only saw them twice a year, you'd keep the place tidy
Yeah,
too.
there's nothing else to do.
You've got to keep busy. You know, our dad's got to keep. What's our dad going to do? You know, the blackies just run up in the heather. Those top lambs just run in after their mother, ready to rock.
Great.
It looked very green though. It was very.
Yeah, that's saturation. I think you call that. It's amazing what you can do in post. But no, Michael, been great having you in. We're going to go and have a very good chat as well. And good luck with the Easy Care system and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting. Just one last thing, because obviously conscious times go on now, and we'll do the quiz, which I think you'll do well in.
No,
You're a man of the world. Are you in a situation where really you are under pressure that, you know, once your lease runs out, where are you going? What are you doing?
Well, I'll be 65 when the lease runs out.
Yeah, and then what have you got to show for it? Have you other? I mean, it's a hard question. It is a direct question, but you know, have you got other yow? Is it your stock of yows? Is it your?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
And that's a worry, isn't it? But the cows.
No, you can
if we had- if we have-
podcast to your 80.
You
could.
I think I will have to work until I die.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
Most farmers do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why I've really got to get going with something anyway. Maybe I should buy those cows. Yeah.
No, I think you're doing the
feel
right thing with
pressure
that.
now.
I
It's
thi-
peer
No,
pressure now.
don't buy the
I think
kids.
what you're saying all coming together, you know, you'll breed them over 3 years and stuff, and yeah, you're going to have a big stock there to go, but
And the cows are at the end game. You know, as long as I'm there, say we have 200 cows by the end and I own half, or maybe we could have a situation where I just get more of them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, and my neighbour has the cash, you know, then we've got something there. But yeah, I need to really get my finger out. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
No, but I'm just, you've got to make an end plan, especially when you're like,
Absolutely.
you know, like I'm in a situation now where if I get the farm paid off, I'm fine. You know, there's a big nest egg there to pay my pension. Like I don't need to worry too much. But that's the worry about people in tenancies. It's and with George Lyons in where he said the great security for secure tenants is that tenants improvements payout
Yes.
at the end.
Yeah.
But you don't have that luxury
Well,
in your
no, we
lease.
would get tenants improvements.
If you'd done
It's
any.
whether we've done it. No, well, that sheep system's good.
Yeah, that sheep system's very good. But your other problem is it depreciates over 10 years. There's like a sliding scale of tenants improvements too. Like the whole thing's
No,
very confusing.
I think it's the value to the farm now.
Okay. No, but it's all things to think about. You know, it's difficult being a tenant and,
Absolutely.
and what your security is in the future.
Absolutely.
Good tender a high. That's right. We're gonna. Who are we beating here? Who do you know?
I half thought about getting them all wrong so I could just at least have some sort of
Fame and be mentioned in every one.
Yeah.
Well, Becca and Jordan are down here with 2. I think you've got an 8 in you or a 9.
No, I have not.
I'm going to
Private school.
say
Yeah,
9
but
or
it's
10.
a waste of money, as you pointed out, Cammy.
Yeah, but I mean, even I only got a 7. Like.
Even Iona.
I don't mean that, sorry. I don't mean that. I'm talking about private school people. That's not what I meant at all. I mean private school, like, you know, it's solid.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Now the trick to this, okay, I shouldn't be coaching you. The trick to this is if you don't know it, get your pass in sharp. Don't sit and hum and haw. Some people sit too long not knowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, coach.
Tell me
Right.
when.
And you want to be psyched up. ready
I'm
to go.
hydrating. Hang on.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, we're off.
French, German, and which other language is officially spoken in Belgium?
Flemish.
Yes. Which Italian Baroque composer was known for his work, The Four Seasons?
Oh, Vivaldi.
Yes. Darren Gough represented England in which sport?
Cricket.
Yes. What is the name of the narrator in the film Moby Dick?
Don't know. Pass.
Ishmael. In a restaurant, to go Dutch means to split the cost of which payment?
The bill.
Yes.
Menu.
Beginning with F, which company began offering wearable activity trackers in 2014?
Fitbit.
Yes. Victoria Adams, aka Posh Spice, is now better known by which surname?
Beckham.
Yes. Which company founded by Richard Branson are known
Virgin.
for its... Yes. Wenlock and Mandeville were the official mascots for which event that took place in London in 2012?
The Olympics.
Yep. A statue of which comedian best known for his jokes about the mother-in-law stands in the Lancashire town of Lytham St Anne's?
Oh, Les Dawson.
Yes. On the big screen, actors Leonard Nimoy and Zachary Quinto have both portrayed which space character?
Spock.
Yes. Sometimes known by its initials MOH, which honour is the United States government's highest and most prestigious military decoration?
Medal of Honor.
Yes. Which Spanish tennis player won the French Open 9 times in
Nadal.
10 years? Columbia University, Cornell Tech and Rockefeller University are all found in which US city?
Washington.
New York.
New York.
Complete the title of this famous Vermeer painting, Girl with a Pearl
Necklace.
Earring. The Great Barrier Reef is located off the east coast of which continent?
Australia.
Yes. Who plays Chuck Noland in the 2000 survival film Castaway?
Tom Hanks.
Yes. Which British band had a 2004 hit with Somewhere Only We Know? A. Keen, B. Snow Patrol, C. Embrace.
Keen.
Yes. Which UK confectionery brand are known for their Love Hearts, Palma Violets and Drumstick Lollipops?
Pass.
Swizzles.
Time.
Has he done it? He's absolute... What?
15.
No way.
Do you know you get every single one right till Cornell one? It was every question right until... And I actually knew that one because it's in... Cornell's in The Office. Andy goes to Cornell. And that's how I know it's in New York. 15.
That was...
It can be done.
That was
They
very
were
impressive.
The questions were good though, eh?
You say that though. They say that. Can I just have a quick review of this, by the way? Because where was the
Those
first
were the
ones?
first ones.
The first ones. So I mean,
Private
French...
school does pay.
Oh, at 15, French, German, and which other language are officially spoken in
Flemish?
Belgium? Flemish. I'd never got that.
Never even heard of
No,
Flemish.
no. Which Italian Baroque? I don't know if you said that right. Composer, Baroque. What is it? Baroque?
I don't know. Baroque, I think.
Baroque composer was well known for his work, The Four Seasons. Vivaldi.
They just like that.
Yeah. Like, so I don't think you've been... Darren Gough representing England. I took it. That's a not bad one. I didn't get the Moby Dick one. What was the next thing you went on to? Yeah, the Bill was easy. Fitbit was easy. Beckham,
Yeah, there's
Virgin.
a wee run of okay ones there.
You could get the London 2012, the Olympics. Yeah, okay, that was 4 easy ones.
Yeah.
But then, statue of which comedian best known
I
for
wouldn't have
Les
known
Dawson?
that.
I've never heard of Les Dawson.
No.
Yeah, but I'm old.
Tremendous. 15.
Outstanding.
Honestly, I didn't think I'd get 4. Like when we do it, when I listen, I only get 4 or 5.
Some of them are, it's such a luck of the draw.
Yeah, it
I don't get me
is.
wrong though, you've answered hard questions
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that
Vivaldi.
wasn't a-
Vivaldi's
yeah.
a belter.
Vivaldi.
Right, 15, will not be beaten. Michael Blanche,
Outstanding.
gutted. The Wilson name is no longer at the top. Neil will be even more gutted when he sees that. Anyway, Michael, thanks for coming
thanks
on.
so much, guys. It's great to
Let-
see you.
Let's go and do a Pasture Pod.
All right.
And we're back. I think we first have to speak about this quiz performance.
This is outstanding.
Outstanding. He absolutely smashed it. It's
He
not
didn't
going to be beaten.
falter.
It's not going to be beaten.
Is it not?
Nah, it's not going to be
It
beaten.
is.
But it's not because I'm getting rid of the quiz. Next week will be our last week of the quiz because I just don't like the questions. I'll think of something else. We might just do a leaderboard of and just ask everybody that comes in, tell us your profit from last year.
But will people know that?
People know it.
Do they?
Yeah, but they'll not tell you the truth, but it's just fun.
Okay.
It's just really, do you know what I like about the leaderboard? It's a way of remembering everyone that's been.
I know, I agree with
Like,
that.
that's why I did it. Like, that's why Top Gear do it. It's not about actually winning.
Yeah.
But then the quiz gets too awkward. You know, it's just too rubbishy question. But that's why I thought you could just do what fun thing you could do. So you could just literally do it. What was your profit from last year?
Yeah.
And then we could just have it up here. But anyway, Michael smashed it. Entertaining, hopefully, for people. The Pasture Pod is my favourite podcast.
How did you find it recording with them? Your podcast?
Yes, I have done a Pasture Pod with Michael. I think
was
he's
it?
putting that on his Patreon. Oh, good. It was like a therapy session.
I was going to say, I think I said to my dad, I was like, that's one podcast that you were on that I would actually listen to. I don't know, I feel like Michael could.
What are you saying, Iona?
What?
Right, so it's just Michael you want to listen to, not me so much?
No, it is because I think he's
He'll ask
the
different
kind of
questions.
person that would actually maybe get a bit deeper with you.
Oh, it
and-
was quite deep.
Yeah, that,
yeah. Yeah, no,
And
it
not
was,
just sort
he's like a therapist when he does his podcast. He's like Louis Theroux. He is like the farming Louis Theroux. You know, he leaves a long silence that, you know, most people would want to fill, and it's the best. There's nothing offensive about him.
No, there's
So he
not.
can say direct questions and ask you cheeky questions that you might say are cheeky, but they're not so cheeky coming from him.
Yeah.
You're not. It doesn't offend people. He's
No.
very unoffensive.
He's got a lovely presence about him,
Yes,
hasn't he? Like I could think I could be friends with Michael.
Oh, I should have said this at the bloody start. The Big Farm Debate. So on Wednesday the 26th, it's at Ayr Market, Big Farm Debate. I think it's 6:30, free entry. I'm going to be at that one. And then there's one at Huntly on the Thursday, Big Farm Debate. So yeah, come along to that. It's free. Scottish Farmers hosting it. Great speakers. Please do come along. That's us. See you for the next one. I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are all fed by farmers.
Welcome to the podcast where we're harvesting humor, planting delight.